For centuries, the world has relied on gold and various currencies for trade and storing value. But now, Bitcoin is vying for reserve status. Can it replace gold or the dollar? That depends on whether it can do what gold and hard currency can do.
In general, money can have three functions. This is as a store of value, literally as a fungible asset that holds value that, has been earned or accrued in a variety of ways. Money also functions as a unit of account, right? The ability to use an asset to measure the value of other assets and other things, and as a medium of exchange, which is critical, obviously, for commerce that we engage in on a daily basis.
And what about gold? Bitcoin is often called digital gold, limited in supply, tamper-proof, but easier to move and not controlled by any country.
And if you look at every dimension of Bitcoin against gold, it is definitely a store of value asset that's more ready for the century we live in. It's digital. It can be transferred at very low cost. It's divisible in a way that gold is not. Gold is complex to divide in different parts.
It's not just private investors turning to Bitcoin. Governments are already holding it in their reserves to protect their countries from economic turbulence. The largest Bitcoin reserves are held by the United States with around 198,000 Bitcoins, followed by the United Kingdom and Bhutan. El Salvador, the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, holds around 6,200 coins. But what do these numbers mean for the future of Bitcoin as a global reserve? In the U.S., talks are being held about making Bitcoin a permanent part of the national currency reserves. The goal is to hold around 5% of all Bitcoins, roughly 1 million coins. But this plan still faces major obstacles.
It's hard to imagine it replacing the dollar because, of course, Bitcoin at the moment is volatile and so behaves a little bit more like digital gold than a reserve currency. And as you can imagine, there's also geopolitical interest in retaining the dollar status as the global reserve currency.
This is a breakdown of global foreign exchange reserves in 2024. The U.S. dollar leads the pack with nearly 58%. Trailing far behind are the euro at just under 20% and the yen and British pound at under 6%. The remaining currencies account for nearly 12%. So far, Bitcoin plays virtually no role in this context. But the proponents of Bitcoin say that price fluctuations will decrease as more governments buy and hold it.
The more value that is stored in Bitcoin, held in Bitcoin, that does increase the price stabilization a bit.
But with increasing demand, the pressure on the market is also rising.
You can't just turn around and buy, $100 billion of Bitcoin. There's going to be demand pressure on all of that.
Another drawback to using Bitcoin as a national currency reserve, the possibility of theft through hacking attacks, and regulation is still unclear in most countries. On the other hand, Bitcoin is essentially the leading cryptocurrency. It's tried and true and independent of central bank decisions, which is exactly what makes it attractive to many investors.
Bitcoin will increasingly be the most important digital asset in the crypto space. It will have different economic properties than the dollar, the euro, the yen, the pound, the yuan, and people will use it for different purposes. For example, one idea is like if you're trying to move value between two different countries.
Whether Bitcoin will truly replace gold or the dollar remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, central banks are starting to digitize their reserves.